And what is happening, my blocked buddies? This is blocked content, and we are basically the video game tabloid at this point because we are just putting out there all these leaks of Nintendo Switch. All the news that you want is right there on your doorstep. We are the newspaper that has all that information that you want. And today we are looking at the most awesome thing possible because from the Geno leak, last week, there's so much Nintendo Switch leaks and information, and I wanted to go into the most awesome part of that leak, which is not necessarily what the console can do or what the Nintendo Switch end up being or, virtual reality stuff, but it is a quick list of retail launch games in March and first-party Nintendo breakdown for 2017 until 2018. So I hope you guys are ready. Hold on, because this is going to be a wild ride. We're going to get into some launch games that are rumored, that are, in this leak from Geno, which some people have said it could end up being very true because it's so specific, this leak. It just held my attention for so much. So we're going to get into it, okay? So I'm going to kind of ignore the games that are very much out there, Japanese-only releases and stuff like that. I'm going to talk about the games that I personally would love to see and am very happy that are in this leak. So are you guys ready? Okay, here we go. So one of the things very obvious right away is the Elder Scrolls Skyrim Remastered from Bethesda Softworks. So Skyrim, of course, you guys know, was in the official trailer for the Nintendo Switch, and it looked really amazing back then. I mean, I can't say it any other way. It looked really good. I think that having Skyrim on the Nintendo Switch will introduce it to a whole new audience. Kids that might be a little bit younger that don't necessarily, are PC gamers or PlayStation or Xbox gamers, and they just don't play games like that. And if you were to introduce a big open world like Skyrim and also, the whole fantasy setting of, dragons and these special powers, I think it would do really well. And, having the door open for more Bethesda games on a Nintendo system, that would be insane because I think that Bethesda is doing great work. They are very specific in their quality. They are not settling for anything less. So having Skyrim remastered would be the best possible outcome because, it will be Skyrim, but it will be Skyrim amped up a little bit. It won't have anything, new, no new missions, no fixes for, glitches and stuff like that. Well, hopefully a little bit, but Skyrim remastered for sure will have, better lighting, better graphics, better everything. So that would be crazy because we'll be able to play the Elder Scrolls Skyrim Remastered right there in the palm of our hands, which none of these other consoles are offering. And I think it won't take long until the competition catches on and they're saying, hey, we have PlayStation on the go or something, and then you can just play your console games on the Vita or something like that. And maybe Xbox will have the Xbox, what would it be called? The Xbox Road or something, and then it will be, I don't know. I think they will eventually copy the idea because I think it's going to be very successful. And a game like Skyrim on the go, I mean, that was everybody's dream, right? A big open world game, and also Breath of the Wild. I mean, having that on the go, I'm just going crazy. So a new FIFA game, which will be called FIFA Anywhere 18. This is a new initiative called FIFA Anywhere, which of course alludes also to it being on the Switch, and you can take the game anywhere. And of course, in the Switch trailer was the NBA basketball game that looks so cool, and you can play it with your friends, with different Switches and the Joy-Con controller, which looks very cool. So For Honor from Ubisoft is also coming. Just Dance 2017 Platinum Edition from Ubisoft is coming. We know about this actually because that much has been revealed by Ubisoft, and I think overall that Ubisoft will be a grand partner for the Nintendo Switch. I think that they are very, big friends with Nintendo. I think they're going to do some awesome stuff, and I think directly at launch they will have a lot of cool games. I see Ubisoft pop up everywhere on this list. So it will also have at launch LEGO Dimensions, and LEGO Dimensions is awesome. I mean, there's so much going on in that game that I really can't even comprehend. There are so many different franchises, like the Lord of the Rings, like Sonic the Hedgehog, like the Lego Movie as well, that my head is just spinning whenever I see footage of that game. I really want to play it very soon, and playing it on the go, I mean, sign me up for some Lego Dimensions. I would love to play that. And yeah, I think it's the right console, the Nintendo Switch. It will also have Lego City: The Chase Begins from Warner Bros. Interactive, and it will also have Mario RPG Rabbids Invasion from Nintendo and Ubisoft. So like I said, Ubisoft's got a lot more coming. Wow, I mean, we reported on the Mario RPG before, but just the idea of a Mario RPG with the Rabbids in it, I mean, that's just crazy, right? I mean, just think of how crazy this game would be. I mean, the Rabbids are known to be these weird sort of out there characters that scream all the time, and a Mario RPG was this very sophisticated, very stylish game. How would this, compare to each other? And would it be anything like Super Mario RPG for the SNES? Or is this a title that is still in flux? I hope so, because I don't think a sequel to a game so great as Super Mario RPG should be invaded by the Rabbids. I think this should be its own entire thing if it ends up happening. It kind of reminds me of like the 21 Jump Street meets Men in Black movie that they are going to make, which is the most unlikely team up ever, and I just hope that it will work, because it's gonna be a hard fall if a Mario RPG game doesn't do well. So this list also has Mass Effect Andromeda on it, which is pretty funny because there was actually a press release from EA yesterday, and they said, no, there are no plans to bring Mass Effect Andromeda to the Nintendo Switch right now. Of course, we don't want to close any doors because, if people really want this, then we should bring it. But, a lot of these companies say these things because they don't want to reveal things beforehand, and maybe Mass Effect Andromeda is going to be released in that January 12 Nintendo Direct, which would be crazy awesome. But yeah, it kind of counters each other, which is funny. I've never noticed that in this leak before until this moment. So Mobile Suit Gundam game is coming. Monster Hunter XX Switch is coming, which would be very cool because the Monster Hunter franchise is doing so well. I would be very happy to see more of that. Now it also says Overwatch from Activision. In our previous video, we talked about that. Potentially, we'll have a playable character from the Metroid franchise in it, which I think would do gangbusters for the Switch. And also Resident Evil 7 Biohazard is coming from Capcom. And I mean, we've talked about the Joy-View, which is supposedly going to be Nintendo Switch's, it's going to be VR for Nintendo Switch. And playing a Resident Evil game in VR, that is going to be so scary. And I'm not one for horror movies, but I mean, if I'm going to be scared, I want to be really scared. I don't want to touch that game anymore after I play a session. And Resident Evil 7 looks so scary, and they're bringing back the horror elements in that franchise. I would be so happy to play a game that legitimately scared me so much. So Resident Evil 7 Biohazard coming from Capcom at launch, I mean, that seems pretty soon. So another game that I love and have actually played at a convention is called South Park: The Fractured But Whole, and I love that title so much. I mean, it's so serious, right? The Fractured But Whole. There's nothing else hiding in that title at all. It's just so serious. Anyway, it's from Ubisoft, and I would be so happy if this comes to the Switch, because playing this cool South Park game on the go, I mean, it's very dialogue and joke heavy, so playing it with earbuds in would be so cool in the train, and laughing away at what Matt and Trey are bringing to that franchise. I am in love with South Park. The latest season, it hasn't been everyone's favorite, but I've loved it, and I think that South Park is doing fresh things. And the Fractured But Whole looks like, it's building on the concept of the Stick of Truth, but it's still doing brand new things with it. And, the battle system is now, amped up. You can walk around freely. There are even better farting powers in the game. So, let's hope this happens, right? So, Splatoon Refresh is there, and it says Nintendo behind it. So, yes, Splatoon Refresh could then be confirmed for launch, which would be insane. I mean, the Splatoon game that has been teased in the Switch trailer, the very first one, could be there at launch. I mean, new costumes, new stages, and hopefully new weapons. I would be in, because I played Splatoon. I like it. I think it's very fine-tuned. I think it has a great audience on the Nintendo, on the Wii U. but you know, it needs a little bit more. It didn't have all the content necessary to you know, have that purchase be justified. But I think that having something like Splatoon Refresh, which has all this content and new content and look better, this could be a great title for Nintendo. Steep from Ubisoft is coming, which is a great game, looks beautiful, also looks very boring. And Super Mario, now it's coming, guys, now it's coming. Super Mario Switcheroo from Nintendo is coming at launch, if we are to believe this leak. Now, Super Mario Switcheroo is referring to the 3D mainline Mario title that we've seen in the trailers. Mario walking through a Mexico-ish world where things are kind of frozen over, and it looks like, you know, the exploration of Super Mario 64 mixed with the action-packed, you know, short bursts of energy from the Super Mario 3D World franchise. Switcheroo is still a weird name to me, but I think it's in line with what Nintendo is. And, you know, I don't think they've ever really done anything. I mean, they had Super Mario 64, which was, of course, named after the Nintendo 64. So Super Mario Switcheroo makes sense in that regard. But if you think about Super Mario Sunshine, Super Mario Galaxy, those games are so unique in their title, and it's not Super Mario GameCube or 128. It's Super Mario Sunshine Galaxy. Now, we want the next thing, but is that necessarily Super Mario Universe or Super Mario Vacation? I mean, it could be Super Mario Switcheroo. I've grown to it. And I think that if it were to be revealed in a trailer and we didn't know it from this leak, and it would be Super Mario Switcheroo, woohoo, then I would be like, what is that title? And if it pops up now, I'd be like, okay, yeah, I'm already, you know, honed in on that. So we're getting more games. We're getting Tekken 7 from Bandai Namco Games. And of course, we know that Bandai Namco is also working on Smash Brothers. They did Smash Brothers for Wii U. So I'm very happy that they are involved. And of course, Tekken 7 will have a lot more Nintendo costumes. I think that they will continue that trend. Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3 is coming, which will be great for Nintendo Arena, Nintendo's esports thing. And Yooka-Laylee is coming from Team 17 from, what are they called again? I think they're called Playtonic Games. Yooka-Laylee, I mean, that's the spiritual successor to Banjo-Kazooie and Banjo-Tooie, and it just looks insane. I want to play this game because I think that I'll have a great time. And if it is to come to Nintendo Switch, which I really think is going to happen because the Wii U version was, I think it was canceled a few weeks ago, if I'm not mistaken. So I think it was canceled. If it was canceled because it's coming to the Switch, and it would make a lot more sense to not release it on the Wii U anymore. And the Switch would make a lot more people happy because it means that you can play a cool, you know, 3D platformer finally, like Banjo-Kazooie, but on a handheld. Ah, man. This is just making me so excited. I want to thank every single one of you who tuned in to Block Content today. We have all the latest news on Switch, and if you tune in very soon, we'll have a lot more because it will just be like a newspaper on your doorstep. We are Block Content. If you want more, hit that beautiful red subscribe button because it will mean that me, my beautiful voice, will be right there every single time we have a new video. You can just click on it and be like, hey, I'm part of the Block Content family. Hey guys, see you later.